Welcome to Calming Harp, the sounds of David's Psalms. I'm glad you've joined us for this brief moment we share together. I will be playing some of the music that has been brought out of the Psalms. My name is Steve Rees. I play the harp, and over the last several years I've been bringing the sounds of David's Psalms into recordings. You can find a lot of my music on my website, www.calmingharp.com. I have CDs available and MP3s. And you can go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and then type in Peregrinati, Peregrinnatti, you will find hours of beautiful harp music that you can just play in the background and be calmed with the music that David may have played for his sheep at one time or another. So as we share this half hour, join me and enjoy the sounds of David's harp. Well, good morning again. Here we are, November 12, as I'm recording this. And this is number 94 episode, and it's been quite a journey, I tell you. I'm looking out at our backyard here. We have been putting in a winter garden here, and it's looking pretty good, pretty encouraging that we'll be able to eat out of it pretty soon. It's a good thing. This is an interesting program for me. I was thinking this episode is going to the birds, and it will literally. I'm going to be playing the track that comes out of my album All Nature Sings, and looking out at my backyard, I'm reminded of one morning several springs ago. I took my recorder out and just started recording all of the bird sounds that were going on. And it was just a very joyful experience. And I felt really good for doing it. And then I took and put some harp music to it, which was, I think they went really well together. And it wasn't until a friend of mine sent me an article just recently about how the sound of birds singing in nature all around us actually is a health benefit for us. It actually there are tests now that they've been able to perform scientifically that demonstrate that when we are in the presence of birds singing in the trees around us, in the wind blowing gently through the leaves, all of these beautiful natural sounds, it actually is beneficial to our health. It actually reduces stress. It helps to address depression and pull us out of depression, and gives us a much better frame of mind as we approach all of the things that are coming at us from the world around us. So I just thought well, let me look in the Psalms and see what Psalms have talked about birds. Did David appreciate the Psalms, the birds in the Psalms? And so the first one was Psalm 11, to the chief musician, a Psalm of David. In Yahweh I put my trust. How would you say to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain. For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, and they privately shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple, his throne is in heaven, his eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. He tries the righteous, but the wicked and him that love violence his soul hates. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This is the portion of their cup. For the righteous, Yahweh loves the righteous. His countenance beholds the upright. In that countenance is his face is turned with great affection towards the upright. And so I just thought, fleeing as the bird to the mountain, there's sometimes things going on around us that the birds, you see them scatter. If a sudden sound or something, you'll see them poof, off they're gone. And so David is he's saying, when these bad things are happening, I'd sure like to be a little bird that I could flee, but we aren't. So, but then he goes on to appeal to our Heavenly Father. So I'm going to start some of the music here, and we'll let that play for a while, and then I'll come back with some of the other psalms. But before I start the music, I wanted to just comment that, talking about fleeing before the startling things, this week has been a startling week, I think, for me anyway, in the way that our nation has turned out here. And it does seem like the people who don't have good intent are winning, and that those who want to stand for righteousness are being maligned and taken out. And so one wonders, what is the future here? What's going on? But like I say, almost every week that I make these broadcasts, our Heavenly Father knows exactly what's going on, and He looks with favor on the righteous. A lot of times Malachi 3 says that we're tempted to say, oh, the wicked are the only ones that are succeeding, and look at us, nothing's happening for us. It doesn't do any good to worship God. But he says, some of you have conversations among yourselves about the goodness of your Heavenly Father. And he says, I'm writing those conversations down. And when the day comes for me to make up my treasured ones, my segula is the word used there, then I will look at that book, and you are the ones who I will bring into my treasure. So no matter what it's looking like all around us, the real key is, don't give up. Don't let the world and all the things that look like it's not going to turn out good, don't let that influence you. But hang tough, as we say. Stay faithful, stay solid, knowing that your Heavenly Father knows exactly what's going on, and He is going to bring about the final end that He has designed. So let me just offer that little word of encouragement, and then let's go in and listen to these birds. And I would recommend, if you're getting a little down, starting to get a little depressed, a little discouraged, just take a walk out in the woods, listen to the wind, listen to the birds. As it's approaching winter here, the birds aren't as vocal now, but they're still out there. I'm still every time I go out, I still notice there's a mockingbird up in the tree that's doing these pretty little sounds, or the cardinals are starting to return, and they have their beautiful sounds. So let me just recommend to you that when things start to look not so good, just go take a little break and go out and listen to our Heavenly Father. These birds, they don't get in trouble. Yeshua said they don't take thought. They don't gather into barns. They just live minute by minute, day by day in the presence of the Heavenly Father. And he has designed for us to do that as well. So here comes the music, and then I'll come back for some more comments. Psalm 124. It's one of the songs of ascent. David said, if it had not been for Yahweh who was on our side. Now it may Israel say, if it had not been for Yahweh who was on our side. Let's repeat that just to make sure we remember. Then they would have swallowed us up quick, and their wrath would have been kindled against us. Then the waters would have overwhelmed us, and the streams would have gone over our soul, and the proud waters would have gone over our soul. But, let's just put it that way, blessed be Yahweh, who has not given us as prey to their teeth. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowler. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. And this is the most important phrase of the whole thing. Our help is in the name of Yahweh, who made heaven and earth. A couple of the other Psalms, Psalm 104 talks where the birds make their nest, as for the stork, the fir trees are their house. Psalm 57 verse 1 to the chief musician. The Miktam of David when he fled from Shaul in the cave. Be merciful unto me, O Elohim. Be merciful unto me, for my soul trusts in you. Yes, in the shadow of your wings will I make my refuge, until these calamities be overpast. I will abide in your tabernacle forever. I will trust in the covering of your wings, he says in Psalm 61. Psalm 63, because you have been my help, therefore in the shadow of your wings will I rejoice. Psalm 91 even has, he covers us with his wings. We are safe in that covering of his wings. So all of these Psalms remind us that our Heavenly Father, he says, I will cover you with feathers, and under your wings shall you trust. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. Psalm 68 says, though you have lain among the pots, yet shall you be as wings of a dove covered with silver, and the feathers with yellow gold. So David uses the imagery of the birds fairly often in the Psalms, and I think it's just important to remember that the birds that our Heavenly Father created, they have, first of all, they have very unique ability. They have this ability to fly. They have this ability to sing. They have ability to migrate incredible distances. Like the Arctic tern goes from northern hemisphere to southern hemisphere every year. The little hummingbird that is able to go from Canada to Mexico and burn incredible amounts of energy that somehow they're able to store in their body. Scientists still don't know how they really are able to do it. And all of it is reflective of the incredible design of our Heavenly Father. And I just have to take that understanding of our Heavenly Father's design for his creatures, including myself. What is, David says, what is man that you're mindful of him? But our Heavenly Father is mindful of us. We look out at the stars and we see the incredible light year distances between, and we're going like the hugeness of our Father's creation and the minuteness of our Father's creation. And the design that's expressed throughout all of it is just an amazing thing. I don't know how an evolutionist can really seriously entertain their theory. Let me just make sure that we understand it's a theory. It's not fact. Nobody was there to measure it. Nobody was there when it happened. Only our Heavenly Father. And he said he did it this way, and I'm very happy to believe that he did. It takes faith either way, if you really think about it, if you want to be honest with yourself about it. So saying all that to say that even today, right now, in the midst of chaos, in the midst of current events that are swirling around us, wars in Europe and elections in the US and soon coming up in Australia, and I'm sure I have several friends in South Africa, and there's just some turmoil going on all around, but we all have to continue to direct our minds and hearts back to our Heavenly Father. Shirley and I were reading this morning about Jehoshaphat and the Moabites, and then some from Seir, it says as well, were coming up against them. And what did Jehoshaphat do? He went to the temple and he prayed to the Father. He said, look, they're coming and we're going to have to trust in you. And then what did he do? He sent out singers ahead of them. He sent them out and said, praise you, the Lord, in the beauty of his holiness. And when they looked over, got to the vantage point over the army that was coming against them, what did they see? They saw dead bodies everywhere. The enemy had been routed by God in some miraculous way. And so what did Jehoshaphat and the Levites do? They sang praises to the Heavenly Father, giving him 100% credit for all that he had done on their behalf. And I believe that if we will praise our Heavenly Father in the midst of what's going on, we too will rejoice. So I hope you've enjoyed our time together. Stay tuned, as I say. Little pun. I have many more songs to share with you. I have more to share about how this all comes together. And I pray that you will share and help people, especially those you see stressed, especially in these times that we're going through. Bring people to this calming and this peace and this rest that this beautiful music of the Psalms of David brings to each of our lives. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you next week. Many, many blessings to you all today.